Hey everybody, it's me. I hope you're all having a great day today. I just wanted to drop by real quick and go over something very simple with you and maybe share a few example sentences to help you better understand and get a feel for how to use this expression. And that is the use of the word off. When something is off, of course, we are often talking about the power being off, like your cell phone being off, or the computer being on and off, the AC, the air conditioner being on and off, the lights being off. But we also use this word off when we are talking about something that is inaccurate or something that has turned out to be inaccurate or incorrect. For example, my prediction was completely off. Let's say that I made a prediction about something, like, oh, the next iPhone will have this, but it turned out my prediction was completely off. That means my prediction was completely inaccurate, or I guess in this case we can say incorrect. Someone can make a prediction about something, and if that prediction turns out to be incorrect or inaccurate, they often say the prediction was off. His prediction was completely off. He made some predictions about this, and that, but they turned out to be completely off. So this is a very common way people talk about someone's prediction turning out to be incorrect or inaccurate. Now, another word that is very commonly used with off is mark. I'm sure a lot of you may have heard this before. His prediction was completely off the mark. Our estimates were completely off the mark. So let's say that we made some estimates as to how much something was going to cost. Like we made some very specific estimates, right? And let's say they turned out to be incorrect or inaccurate. Then we can say, oh, we were completely off the mark. Our initial estimates were completely off the mark. Of course, we don't always have to say off the mark together. We don't always have to say mark. But by saying off the mark, it implies that there were some specific estimates that were made, some specific predictions that were made. So maybe some specific numbers were mentioned. You get the idea, right? Another very commonly used combination is being off by a lot or not being off by a lot, being off not by a lot. So let's say, again, we made some estimates as to how much something was going to cost. And let's say that we were way off. And we can say this too. Oh, our estimates were way off. But a slightly more formal way to say that would be we were off by a lot. We were off by a lot. We were off, but not by a lot. It means that we were off. Our estimates were off, but not by a lot. It means that we weren't completely inaccurate. Her estimates were off, but not by a lot. Her estimates were off by a lot. By a mile, sometimes they say. But that's just figurative speech. Not exactly a mile, but just mile means a lot. So her estimates were off by a lot, off by a mile. Her estimates were off, but not by a lot. They were pretty close. So let's see. We talked about predictions and estimates being off or not being off by a lot. Another thing that they often talk about using this expression is calculations. I admit my calculations were not right on the mark, but they weren't off by a lot. I guess this could be a pretty good example to practice with. I admit my calculations were not right on the mark, but they weren't off by a lot. I admit my calculations were not right on the mark, but they weren't off by a lot. That means, yes, I know, I admit that my calculations were not completely correct or accurate, but they were kind of close. They weren't off by a lot. Another thing that they often describe as being off would be directions. Like someone gave you directions, but it turned out those directions were a bit off, we can say. So when we say that something is off, it's not always completely off, but we also say it's a little off. It's a bit off. It turned out the directions he gave us were a bit off. It turned out the directions he gave us were a bit off. It turned out the directions he gave us were a bit off. The directions that he gave us, whoever gave us, turned out to be incorrect, inaccurate. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all I have for you today in this video. I just wanted to go over these few sentences with you using the word off. I felt that this is a very convenient, an easier way to talk about something that turned out to be incorrect or inaccurate. So I hope this helps, and I will see you in another video or in a future live stream.
Keep it alive, my tribe survive. Everybody know we gon' do it like this. Come on.